Welcome to Wisdom Trek with Gramps. I am Guthrie Chamberlain, and we are on day 2581 of our trek. The purpose of Wisdom Trek is to create a legacy of wisdom, to seek out discernment and insights, and to boldly grow where few have chosen to grow before. Today is the 46th lesson in our segment of Theology Thursday, utilizing excerpts from the book titled, I Dare You Not to Bore Me with the Bible, written by Hebrew Bible scholar and the professor, the late Dr. Michael S. Heiser. We will invest a couple years going through the entire Bible, exploring short biblical lessons that you may have not received in Bible classes or church. The Bible is a wonderful book, and its pages reveal the epic story of God's redemption of humankind and the long bitter conflict against evil. Yet it is also a book that seems strange to us at times. While God's Word was written for us, it wasn't written to us. Today's lesson is, Charlton Heston Had Company. When we hear Moses' Law, we think of the story that we heard in Sunday school or the scene from the Ten Commandments where Charlton Heston, aka Moses, gets 2 stone tablets from God. But what if I told you that Moses and God were not alone? It may come to a surprise, but the New Testament tells us in 3 different places that the law was delivered by angels, members of God's divine council. Here are 2 of those passages. Acts chapter 7, verses 52 and 53. Which of the prophets did not your fathers persecute? And they killed those who announced beforehand the coming of the righteous one, whom you have betrayed and murdered. You who received the law as delivered by angels and did not keep it. And in Hebrews chapter 2, verses 1 and 2. Therefore you must pay closer attention to what we have heard, lest we drift away from it. Since the message declared by angels provided to be more reliable, and every transgression or disobedience received a just retribution, how shall we escape it if we neglect such a great salvation? I was pretty shocked the first time I saw these verses, and I certainly hadn't heard about them in church. So what passages in the Old Testament were they quoting? That's the second jolt. There isn't a clear reference to it, or at least not in the Old Testament that we use. The New Testament writers didn't invent the idea, though. They got it from Deuteronomy chapter 32, verses 2 through 4, in their Septuagint, Greek translation of the Old Testament. The Septuagint more clearly connects angels to the law than the traditional Hebrew text upon which our English translations are based. So they were using a translation, and we can understand that, but we're not done. It gets a bit stranger. The third New Testament passage that talks about the law and the angels is found in Galatians chapter 3, verses 19 and 20, and this time it isn't just a crowd of angels with Moses and God. What then was the purpose of the law? It was added because of transgressions until the seed of whom the promise referred to has come. The law was put into effect through angels by a mediator. A mediator, however, does not represent just one party, but God is one. See, Galatians chapter 3, verse 19 informs us that there was a mediator between God and the angels when the law was given. Most scholars assume this is a reference to Moses. But why didn't Paul just say that? And why repeat part of the Creed of Israel, the Shema from Deuteronomy chapter 6, verses 4 through 6 in the next verse? God is one. The mediator was likely the angel of the Lord, the Old Testament version of God in human form. Paul emphasized that God is one, to keep the Galatians from being confused about his viewpoint. So the God of Israel met Moses in human form, but where is the embodied God in the story of giving of the law? Moses answers this question in Deuteronomy chapter 9, verse 10. And the Lord gave me 2 tablets of stone written with the finger of God, and on them were all the words that the Lord had spoken with you on the mountain out in the midst of the fire on the day of the assembly. Human physicality, or the finger, is applied to God. Who is this disembodied spirit? John chapter 4, verse 24, and Isaiah chapter 3, verses 1 through 3. The God of Israel came to Moses in human form, just as he had before, when the angel of the Lord appeared to Moses in the burning bush, in Exodus chapter 3, verses 1 through 3, and Acts chapter 7, verse 35. We find support for this proposal in the words of Stephen, who in the same speech, where he said that law was given by angels, tells us that the angel spoke to Moses on Mount Sinai. Acts chapter 7, verse 38. As much as I love the movie, The 10 Commandments, the book is even more fascinating than the movie. Now, the lessons that make up Theology Thursday on our Wisdom Trek podcast for the next couple of years will satisfy the statement, I dare you not to bore me with the Bible. And I trust that you'll enjoy them and, of course, not be bored. And if you found this podcast insightful, please subscribe and leave us a review. Then encourage your friends and family to join us and come along with us tomorrow for another day of Wisdom Trek. creating a legacy. Thank you so much for allowing me to be your guide, your mentor, and most importantly, I am your friend as I serve you through the Wisdom-Trek podcast and journal. As we take this trek of life together, let us always live abundantly, love unconditionally, listen intentionally, learn continuously, lend to others generously, lead with integrity, and leave a living legacy each day. I am Guthrie Chamberlain, reminding you to keep moving forward, enjoy your journey, and create a great day every day. See you next time for more daily wisdom.